Isn't it Falcons onto bunnies or something?
I don't... Look, okay, you know what? Probably. That sounds right.
Etymologists in the chat, tell us why we're wrong. We're reading.
Yeah. Talk to me about... They could be seals. They could be... There we go. All right.
There it is. Polar bears onto seals. All right. Please, someone start fighting so we can get onto it.
Oh my goodness, please help me. Help me, anybody. Okay, Umbra. Thank you. Oh my goodness, get me out. We've gone down the rabbit hole, team. This is what happens when there's not action. We still have... We have 16 teams alive. I'm a play-by-play, guys. I need action. Feed me.
The intersection that Umbra are holding down is, I think, the strongest part in this circle. It was the one that I called out in phase number 2 as well. And with this circle shift, it's still super strong. They're actually holding both sides of the road. We'll see if this becomes an overextension in phase 2 or like a 4 or 5 later on. But for right now, you can see how much pressure they're exerting. Footballers can't move at all. They've already used a bunch of smokes to get one of their players who, I don't know if he drove out to try and get a different position, but you see the burning car nonetheless.
Yeah, this is huge, and they're just like squirming inside their single building right now. You can just see football. They're like a horde of angry ants. Just like, we don't want to be stuck in here right now. As we see, Tempo Storm is joining in on the action. Pittsburgh Knights are also coming on in up from the north, but this is going to be the big question. Where this circle goes is going to determine the fate of so many of these teams, because some are just going to get so punished for it. Oh, that was the circle!
Okay. All right. Yep. It's just east, east, east. That's all. We're going in now Castle, now the Frozen River. At this point, some teams are going to have to go into Castle. But Loops and Umbra, who are both holding the choke points, and Nova as well, but I don't think Loops is going to let them get much pressure out.
No.
They're holding the choke points into Castle. They could stay here and try and gatekeep the best that they can. But if you're not on that sort of north-south road just to the west of Castle, you gotta find something. But the rotations are not as free as you would think because of the way that the river cuts things off. So we're gonna have to see. I want to see teams start to fight. I want to see B4 here start to go aggressive if they spot Redman from Alpha Legends out.
Keep in mind, of course, B4 only have 2 players up, and Slecky is hearing them rotate. They're hunting. Wildcard is hunting right now. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. They are actively moving away from the circle. They are shifting all the way up and around. They want to try and get to that overlook where Alpha Legends is sitting right now, and the whole team is running up, but they are so exposed right now. They just have to trust that their shots are there, and the blue is moving in. They have no vehicles. What is going on? They have no vehicles.
The blue, it's not the worst at this point. It certainly hurts more than phase 1, 2. But I think they could be able to survive it, and I like the safe rotation. They're actually going for kills here. Immediately gets one, but re-knocked. Maxon already on the trade.
Maxon, can he find the shots? No!
Oh, the blue!
Oh my goodness, no! Wildcard just got so lucky with that, because that was actually a 6 shot. The second he heard his teammate getting shot, Maxon jumps off, gets the turn, gets the spin, head on a swivel, finds the shots. It almost went clutch. It's still a 2v4, but they could have maybe taken one more with them, but still, the play from Wildcard is there, and now they've got vehicles to work with. Now they have their avenue into the circle.
Okay. Yala here. We saw them looking at Cloud9, that they know that they're in this city. They know they're in Tovar, but I think they also know that Konina Power are just to the southwest of them in the blue. And so you saw, I believe it was Xana, turn around, make sure that they're not being approached around this little mountainous hill here. And yeah, Konina Power don't want to take this fight. They're going to rotate further towards the south there. And actually, Unique also had a similar rotation earlier on, who were on the east side perfectly free. Now the circle is going to go towards so much of the river is in play, and yes, you can walk on it. It's not swimming, but you still don't want to be there. It's actually more dangerous than the water because you're just standing out in the open, nothing you can do.
And Loops did take over the castle. I wonder if this was going to be the play. I wonder if this is going to be the call. And this is what they did in the last game we saw on Vikendi, and it didn't go necessarily so well for them. So we'll see. Wildcard also getting knocked by the blue here. It's a little, oh boy. A little bit of water in play, but we'll see. Dadine? Hello, Pro-Lord? What? No, Dadine, please. No, that's the vehicle. You don't shoot that when it's on top of you. Oh, no.
Yeah, this is really rough.
He's fine, but you still hate to see it. And he may not be fine for much longer if the rest of the team actually rotates and tries to punish this. Federal is playing Overlook. That could have cost Loop so hard as the rest of the team is going, now starting to fight. It is Dream Eaters and Team Queso. Team Queso, of course, loses those members early, and now Dream Eaters are going to capitalize on it. Ayala, the last man standing. We've seen this man when he throws grenades. He knows what he's all about, but in this time, he's just trying to survive as long as he can, healing up on the back of it. But Spring is here. Wildcard taking so long, trying to chase down those kills on the B4, put them into a terrible position, and now they're in shambles to boot. Slicky's like the last man standing. He's still out in the blue. It just feels like such a sloppy second game after a win from Wildcard. I don't even know what to think.
It's not just them. It's a lot of teams are playing super, super late and super on the back foot. The minute you see this much river, this much water in play, you need to go more aggressive because we saw this shift. No one has, this is going to fit maybe 3 or 4 teams. And if you're late to the party right now, you should have been clearing area ahead of you sooner.
Oh, Nova. Remember earlier on how I talked about this idea that you could just chill next to the cliffs because there's nobody going to be behind you? Did they miss the memo that Loops took over Castle? Did they not receive? Did they not receive that? I'm guessing not.
Not the only ones. But look, so many people that are still out in the blue right now. A lot of them having to bail into water because there's no other option. And Uderkill is just trying to hide behind rocks. But this is when the blue is really starting to hurt. It actually just locked in for the next phase. And people are going to be running out of first aid kits really, really fast.
I mean, this is looking good for Tempo Storm, but that's about it. Footballists as well.
Yeah.
Teams are going to have to rotate out of Castle, and that's just going to be a meat grinder. All of those teams, you can see how close they are together. Who can pick up these kills? There are so many points. It's a shooting gallery, fish in a barrel. And can't believe it. AZ actually was able to step. Just look at your screen right now. Everybody is stacked on top of each other so much. And Nova, they've got to try and make a rotation here, but everybody is looking at them. Everybody is staring at them. The smoke's the only things keeping them up and in this. Let's see if the shots come through. They're actually able to get to some cover under the bridge. Oh my goodness, but HCL does still go down. They didn't make that out unscathed.
It's not even in the circle though, so they're going to have to go big still, but yeah, Power have an angle, and they still have 2 up. They're going to have to push through Castle and actually push through Loops. Loops, we've seen them be a little weak when they're on the defensive side. But there's enough players, I think, on the roof to stay safe for it now. But I wonder their retreat. Federal opening something up, getting a good knock.
Nice read, just sneaks up right in behind. Loops are still taking these fights, though. One member is down. Axer and Halls pushing on in. But Carrillo does have the high ground there up into the tower. It was Federal before. They have traded locations. They are taking these fights. They are playing aggressive like we know, but the 2 teams that could potentially contest them are also potentially going to fight each other. Zfan, the last one standing for Nova out on the flank. The team that takes the shot at him could give themselves away here. As Lord as well. Oh my goodness, so close. Axer not realizing they are this close, but this might be the opportunity for Loops to jump in. They hear the action. They want these kill points as well. Oh my goodness, this is just such chaos. What a circle.
This is another situation for Loops that they want to find their kills now, because there's no guarantee they're going to be able to play into late game placement. They've already picked up 8. It's certainly a good start, and I think they have maybe 2 to 5 on the upside, but 4 up. Yes, they're wounded. Yes, they don't have a strong position in the circle, but they're playing aggressive and they're picking up the kills, and this is exactly why we keep picking them multiple games, especially on Vikendi.
And Nano is just right there. Pyra as well, setting 2 on land and setting 2 in the water. I actually don't mind this decision at all here from them. They're just basically trying to hedge their bets, but wow, that's actually a great position there. Oh, and there's this scout they're talking about. They're going in the water to scout for the players, and the players on land are able to take the shots. That's actually amazing. This is like 500 IQ play from Loops, and they're just, what, on both sides of the water? I talked about fish in a barrel earlier, guys. It was a comment, not an instruction.
Yeah, more easy kills than to pick up, but over here, the other one's fighting. Football is pushing in to Tempo Storm. The circle has pulled off of them, and I think Tempo Storm are actually had the advantage right now. HH24 still needs to get revived. Tensa still needs to heal up, but Spec, he's going aggressive. He knows exactly where foots are.
Oh, the Molotov comes in.
Oh, no, it's their own volley.
Oh no, now it's Lavazine. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be so close here. He's gotta try and find the shots over around the angle of the wall. The jump shot is going on. It's a 2v1 situation. Oh my goodness, and the fancy feet from Football, that's not quite enough there. Should have spent a little more time practicing your dribbling on that one. Not able to find the angle on that 2v1. as we're seeing Cloud9, only one player up and standing for them. But Pittsburgh Knights has made it in with all 4 members alive. Some very happy health bars as well here, Cameron. This is actually looking pretty good here for PK as well, especially considering C9 is now getting absolutely crushed by Loops. And here we go. Breaching a compound? Yes, please. Just another day.
Yeah, this is what you sign up for. This is basically the only thing you need to do as Loops is to hold forward on your phone, on the joystick.
Yes.
And just be able to shoot, be able to fight. Because they're pushing in, they have the smokes to make it chaotic, and they know they have the man advantage over anyone else. In fact, they're stealing a vehicle. You know, this is ours now.
You made this? I made this. It's mine now. Have they taken
They're also watching their back. They're not tunnel visioning.
Tempo is full sending, though, into Loops. I don't know if they know. But they were actually able to get the angle. Tempo was able to get in scot-free. This is actually huge right now. Uneven, though, is on the flank. He could be the one to try and mess this one up, but we do have Loops just going off, able to try and find the angles here. Nice down there, capitalizing the advantage of the smoke, but Dadine is going to go down. PK was getting involved off on the flank as well. J7, but that is Rain dropping to follow this. Kayowski going to go off the roof, making sure that he can help up his teammates as they need them, but Tempo Storm are taking over the buildings. Loops are still on the outside. HH24 is here. This nade could be massive. How does it go? And it finds Kayowski. HH24, you absolute beast. That was huge. This is bringing Tempo Storm back in this fight, Cameron.
Federal got shot a little bit, but he's going for the revive. Dajin also going behind cover, and now that they know that somebody's in the building, a good Molotov. But HH24 is able to find an elevated angle, and the Molly didn't even make it inside anyway. You can see it burning in the middle of that smoke, and Tempo Storm still 3 up. But Loops, they still have 4. They're not out just yet, but now the circle has pulled away from them onto the Knights. Tempo know that they just need to wait for Loops to push in. But can Carrillo, can he land these mollies? Can he flush these final Tempo players out from their hiding hole?
And Sixless picks up that final. The last player swimming out in the water. Spectre trying to back up, trying to retreat, and they're just getting pinched. Pittsburgh Knights with the third party, opening up an opportunity for Loops, but they're playing this smart. They just saw Tempo go down, and they don't want to give themselves up. Pittsburgh Knights is now actually the team in a big position. This could be their chance. This could be their opportunity. They've got all 4 players up, and so much damage has already been done to Loops. But there's still a member of Tempo Storm in the middle of this. I talked about the idea of a spanner in the works, and this could be it here. It could be Rain to mess all of this up. But Kayowski up on the high ground. They're going to have to start to rotate in. The blue is not their friend, and this is a great angle for PK.
The smokes, Loops threw a bunch of smokes out just to try and make it less easy for the Knights, but they're not all super effective, and Raven's still able to find an angle above that hill. Tempo's out, Tempo's done.
Dean,
12 kills for Loops, but J7 on the angle.
That was huge. J7, that rock to the left was massive. Dadine actually went down to the blue. They weren't able to help him up, and this is going to be it. This is PK's game to win. Loops is in a terrible position. You can have the best shot in the world, but it doesn't mean anything, and that's Pittsburgh Knights. The first win here for them, eliminating Loops, the chicken dinner. Solid play from PK. There we go, boys. Make some noise.
14 kills. This is the biggest we've ever seen the Knights go in the PMWL, unless I'm forgetting a game, but like for the most part, they haven't been this huge. But this time, they've used the chaotic circle to their advantage. They found themselves in a position with control of their area, and they just punished team after team rotating in. We didn't see a lot of it. We saw most of the fighting. We watched most of the fighting that happened down on the south side because there was a lot there as well. But you don't get 14 kills by accident.
No, and I wasn't even really noticing them because I saw them like from the peripheral angles. And they still had all their health bars, and I went, they must be playing this kind of quietly because they're known, they're survivalists.
It's the Knights. Yeah,
exactly. That's how they survive. That's how they get on through. I think up until this point, the most kills they'd gotten in a game was like 6. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm making that number up. It was not super impressive, but now with that win, with those kills, that's PK back on the board, and that's why I love PUBG Mobile. Because nobody is ever out. Everybody can always step up. You did not make it here by accident. You are playing in the World League West. You are here because you are an all-star, and finally PK is showing us now. That's the play I love to see. Let's send it back over to our analyst to break down that epic match.
Thank you very much, Pittsburgh Knights, not only for taking yourself a fantastic victory that you guys desperately needed within the Super Weekend, but more importantly for me at least, it keeps this man to my left from bragging about his team choice. You had Loops. Let's talk, though, about Pittsburgh Knights. They came up big. They've been so quiet the entire time, Seven, but finally, in match 2 of the second day of the Super Weekend, they come through big.
Yeah, this is one team that needed that. This is, I know we're talking about Wildcard needing that win from earlier. Well, guess what? Pittsburgh Knights needed this even more to go ahead and move up those standings, those leaderboards that they currently were lacking on. Something along the lines that we haven't been able to see from Canina Power. So I love seeing that they were even third party in a fight. I think at one point we saw them fighting Loops and Tempo. They came in third party there and actually started killing some of the people there too. So overall, great game for Pittsburgh Knights, and I love to see this kind of performance from them.
Let's take a look at the standings then to see where they did place, right? Not where they placed, we know where they placed. Let's see how many points they got, though, on top of this. 14 kills. I actually want to look back and see how many kills they had in total so far within the Super Weekend, because I feel like that's almost more than they had, but they get themselves 34 points, Glitter.
I think that it might be as well, but we have been kind of calling them out a little bit for being at the bottom of the leaderboard, like Seven had said. So amazing game coming out of Pittsburgh Knights, especially when they were shutting down Loops. Loops had a very, very strong game for themselves, and they had great positioning the entire time, and PK was just able to kind of stay on the edge and pick up the win at the end there. Also nice to see Wildcard back up in that top 7 position. It's just good for them points-wise, and then we can move on to the...
Well, Canina Power as well. We got to talk about them, right? This is a team that has been struggling constantly. To be fair, they only have 2 kills, and Tixie averaged 2 kills alone himself normally. But finally, Seven, we see them come to life.
Yeah, and Canina Power being able to get those 2 kills, guess what? They almost went ahead and doubled their kills for the whole weekend so far. And it's great to see that they were actually just going for placement points. At the end, there was just one player left, and he was trying to go for that swim and get those extra placement points. It did end up working out their way. And another team that we need to go ahead and talk about is Nova Esports. Nova Esports needs to go ahead and wake up. They cannot afford to go ahead and just continue to have the performances that they have had so far. We know that's a team that they can get wins and kills, and I might have to actually go ahead and pick them at some point here throughout the day. Another one is Team Queso. Not sure what happened there, honestly. We used to seeing better performances out of Team Queso in Vikendi and only getting 2 points. Very disappointing. I know they're a team that can actually do a lot better. And going here to the next matches, to Miramar and Sanhok, one team that I'm going to be looking out for, and I know everybody else is going to be looking out for, is going to be Dream Eaters. How are they going to be able to adjust to those maps that they did so well yesterday? Can they mirror that performance from yesterday?
Well, we'll find out if it's going to be a sweet dream for them or an unfortunate nightmare as we take a look at our stats for the Pittsburgh Knights. Remember, 14 kills, 1,600 damage. Honestly, the 14 kills and 6 knockout parts really surprised me a lot, Glitter, and I actually really love to see it. It shows they're being really proactive in these fights.
Yeah, and that problem, that's also going to, kind of go back to what I was saying, is that they were doing a very good job third-partying in a lot of those fights. They stayed on the outside of the zone as much as possible, and at one point they just kind of let everybody brawl it out in the middle, and they just picked people off and dished damage out from the sides. If you see how little total healing they actually did, they did not take a lot of damage themselves, so their positioning was very, very strong, as was, that illustrated in the kills and knockouts ratio.
I love how you actually pointed out the healing. Yeah, I think that's the lowest amount of healing we've seen a team get a chicken dinner with.
Yeah, that's some of the smallest healings I've ever seen. And overall, just stealing those many kills, come on, that's a great performance overall for the Pittsburgh Knights. Good job, guys.
Yeah, great job by them. Let's see if they can keep the momentum up as we take a look at our do the do moments from our match number 2 of day number 2 of the Super Weekend. And while we start things off, I mean, you see Dream Eaters again. I'm looking forward to them, as you mentioned, Seven, into the matches later on. Footballists as well, having a tough game here, Glitter. I don't know what's going on within their team, and they had a decent game considering what happened on the first match, but there's some teams that are struggling with that consistency we've talked about.
And I think that this Vikendi specifically, and I was talking about it with you, Seven, it took a long time for teams this time around compared to yesterday to actually start these engagements. It felt like that early game kind of stretched out. I know Cameron and Viren pointed it out too. Like, it stretched on for a very long time this time around, and I don't know if teams are kind of reassessing their aggression from yesterday or what that decision was. But like you said, we did see the likes of Footballs, who won yesterday on Vikendi, playing it a little bit safer. They did get some kills. They had 4 kills, I believe, and they ended up doing well overall in the rankings, but nothing stellar, and that was kind of a little bit weird for me, Seven.
I think it came down just to the circle. That I think it was a circle that a lot of people weren't expecting. And something that I love to see was that it was Castle. I've been asking for this circle for so long. So Kalaris, if you're watching this, we got somewhat of a Castle circle. I guess you can go ahead and count that. And the best part is that, guess what? The teams that I did end up picking, Loops Esports, was in Castle, and we know that team can be super dangerous, and they ended up pretty much just fragging out. I cannot wait to see how much damage they're gonna have on that leaderboard, and we will be breaking down the play here coming up from Loops Esports, something that we quite enjoy. I know watching this, once I saw the circle shift from Castle to another place, I was like, there's no way Loops is gonna be able to survive this. Well, guess what? They proved me wrong, and they ended up in a great engagement here. I forgot which was the other team, and then Temple Storm crashed it, and Loops Esports, being the team that they are, they were able to go ahead and back that up. But guess what? Along all that, you have Pittsburgh Knights players like Sixless, one of those players that actually we kind of wanted to go ahead and wake up. And not let people be wondering earlier, from pretty much from the highlight from earlier, Sixless ended up just getting knocked by running out in the open. So it's good to see that those players, even though they have maybe a bad match, they're able to go ahead and come back and wake up and start getting those skills. And I want to go ahead and see more of that out of Sixless, out of Carnage, out of everybody currently in Pittsburgh Knights.
We'll see if they can stay consistent. And you guys said you wanted to see the damage from the last match. Well, luck for you, a magic button of just a snap of the fingers will bring it right in. There we go, right there on the screen. You guys can see it at home. Let's take a look at these numbers as well, because Glitter, that's some big numbers coming in for Loops.
Wait, are we at almost 2,500 right there?
Is that a 2 or a 3? I can't.
That's what I'm trying to look at. Okay, it's a 2. All right, there we go.
There you go.
Okay,
oh,
all right.
Saver.
But honestly, I mean, I'm not surprised that that's the damage Loops is putting out. They're more than capable of doing that. But look at Pittsburgh Knights, significantly less damage, 2 more kills. We talked about their awareness and positioning in that final zone. Worked out incredibly, incredibly well for them.
Wow. And look at that. I know you ended up picking Footballers. They ended up with a lot of damage. They maybe weren't able to finish up a lot of the knocks they had. I wonder how many knocks they had, but they were at least able to get 4 kills there. I think that's really impressive there from Footballers. And I know you were telling me later you might end up picking Footballers throughout the whole day today after having a chat with them on Twitch.
Listen, to be fair, they did well on Vikendi yesterday. Then they got 3rd place going into Miramar. So if they can take, their momentum from this and kind of push it forward into an even higher standing, I wouldn't be mad about it.
So does that mean you're picking them next match? Okay, cool. One thing I wanted to mention is Temple Storm there, by the way. They had, was it 1,800 damage and only 5 kills done. That shows they're being so aggressive looking for fights, but they weren't converting them into kills, though. That kind of worries me a little bit, Seven, because their points could have been so much higher because of that.
Yeah, and towards the end, they ended up getting unlucky. They pretty much crashed onto a place that they thought they were only going to be having to deal with one team. And guess what? They ended up having to deal with Loops Esports when they were already hot, just going after everybody. So overall, one thing I do like about Temple Storm that you even mentioned earlier, Jason, is that Temple Storm seems to be kind of waking up as well. They seem to be getting some momentum behind them and some, in a way, consistency behind them. So that's one thing I'm going to be looking out for, mostly towards the last match in Erangel.
Okay, well, that'll obviously be coming up a little bit later on tonight. Let's take a look at our top players, though, from the last match that we just had happen on Vikendi. And why does this doesn't even surprise me. 3 players from Loops Esports going to be taking the top 4 positions here, Glitter.
Look at Kayowski's numbers. The man almost had 1K damage to himself. That is impressive. I know we've talked a lot about Carrillo already, but that game coming, like those numbers coming out of Kayowski are incredibly impressive, Seven.
Yeah, and for me, actually, I know we see everybody surrounding the man. Raven, that is good numbers there from Raven as well. And it goes to show that Pittsburgh Knights was just stealing kills left and right. Look at that. He had 2 knocks, and he ended up with 5 kills, so he was super aware of what was going on. So congratulations, Raven, there being on top players. I look forward to maybe seeing you more in the future here on the top players section.
100%. I would love to see him back for more and, of course, get their team further up the rankings. Now, while we were watching this game, a certain play happened, and all 3 of us almost at the exact same time said, clip it. We're going to break this fight down. We have to talk about it. Seven, why don't you kind of introduce it to us and take it away?
let me go ahead and tell you what's going to be happening here with Loops Esports, Uter Killers, and C9 Pyra. Now, at this moment, I was like, I was kind of crying. I said, oh my God, here goes Loops, man. Loops is going to end up dying. This is it. But they proved me so wrong here. They knew that there was people in the water. They knew that there was maybe some little fishes here and there. They tried to go ahead and maybe kill them. Well, guess what? They weren't able to. But something that I do love, to get a little bit more serious here, is that they had 2 players go to the other side, go for that swim, and meanwhile they had 2 other players over here on this side, which ended up working perfect for them. And that's something I actually enjoyed was the timing here. Pyra had to jump on that water, which didn't allow him to go ahead and shoot at some of the player from Loops Esports. They have to go under, and at this point, they still know. At this point, Carrillo's going to be able to call that out. Hey, I see 1 player right here from Pyra. Make sure you're ready to go ahead and shoot at that. And guess what? As soon as they get out, Carrillo just laser ends, because this is pretty much going to be like shooting fish in a bucket, and that's exactly what they're going to end up doing. Loops Esports played that so well, and it was just so surprising for us, Glitter, watching this, that we just had to highlight it. We had to highlight it because it was just such a great play from them.
Yeah, and especially when it's water related. How many times have we talked about how important your decision and when that timing to go in and out of the water, how important those moments are? Because the second you put yourself at that disadvantage, it can be your downfall, and we saw that for both Cloud9 and Uter Killers here.
See, I think one of the most important things we saw in that clip was we talk about Loops Esports and the regression, right? We talk about how they love to take fights, they love to get in your face, but they do it so smart. Instead of sending everyone into the water where they can't shoot, they leave, like you said, 2 players back to make sure to cover the other players going in, and then able to just squeeze them forward and pick themselves up 2 more kills. Fantastic stuff by them, and we'll see if they can keep that up as we progress throughout the day. Let's take a look, though, at our overall standings from the, 7 matches we've had now within the Super Weekend, and we can see Cloud9 maintaining that #1 position. Wildcard currently sitting at #2 with Dream Eaters in 3rd, but Footballists, they've made their way up a bit, so have Loops, Glitter.
Yeah, and I think that's really good to see. We've got Cloud9 being the first team to break triple digits for their overall points. But we also see Pittsburgh Knights making a nice big jump there up into 9th place after their very, very strong showing on Vikendi. So love to see that, because we have seen them historically at the bottom of this list up until today.
Yeah, and just something to note there on Pittsburgh Knights, before this match, they were in 15th place. So what a jump right there. It goes to show what you're able to do if you get a chicken dinner, and on top of that, back it up with kills. And I think this is something to just kind of notate for the viewers at home, for maybe new people that might be watching PUBG Mobile Esports for the first time. All it takes, and maybe if you are struggling like Pittsburgh Knights was, just have a good game. If you have a good game and maybe carry that momentum over, if you're one of those teams that can actually do that, that would be huge, because it's just going to propel you up the leaderboard. And once you get within those top 10, guess what? Your mentality changes.
Yeah.
You're no longer at the bottom of that leaderboard. Now you're in contention, baby.
So much pressure is taken off your shoulders as well if you can have that one good game, right? We saw Dream Eaters really struggle when it came to league play, and they came through with the double chicken dinners. I want to point out one more thing there for the Pittsburgh Knights. They had 8 kills before that game. They got 14 that last one. They over doubled what they had in one game, and obviously shot up the rankings, as you mentioned before. But you can see here, we're going to have Miramar coming up next. That map, it kind of makes us want to think, Dream Eaters, are they going to be able to replicate the success they had before yesterday? I really don't know. I would love to see it, because for them, that then says these are 2 maps that we can dominate on. And if we can have really good points across those 2 maps every single time we play it, then they can easily stay within the top 5 of the overall rankings within Super Weekends, Glitter.
Yeah, and I think, everyone's kind of going to be looking for them because of that outstanding game that they had coming into Miramar yesterday. But we also do need to remember that not only did Dream Eaters have a very strong game on Miramar, but so did B4. Dream Eaters and B4 both were 1st and 2nd in both our Miramar and Sanhok maps, which are the ones that we haven't played that much during league play. So there are definitely teams that are going to be vying for that top spot here, 7.
Yeah, and I think for me, I said it yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and be more of a dream crusher. I want them to actually not get 1st place here, because I want them to start also focusing on the other maps. If you get a team that just gets back-to-back 1st place on the same map, well, guess what? They might just get comfortable with that. And I don't want a team to get comfortable with that. I want them to go ahead and look at other outcomes of what they're able to do and how they're able to improve in the other maps. So Dream Eaters, if you're watching this, it'll be awesome if you guys get the win, but I kind of hope you guys also realize, hey, we're going to be playing a lot more matches in Erangel, a lot lot more matches in Vikendi, so hopefully they can go ahead and step it up there.
It's a very good point. I like that. You can't really depend on 2 maps only to have your success on, because the second you don't have your success that one time on the map, you just drop down those leaderboards. But you know what? Speaking of dropping down leaderboards, we're getting to prediction game time here, and hopefully myself is not going to drop any farther. Seven, I know you're kind of coming up close to overtaking me. Glitter, you actually got yourself into, I believe, like 3rd or 4th place at the moment, so you're shooting up the ranks. And then we're going to go for your prediction off the bat here. You were talking about footballs before. Are you going to stick with the guns?
I think for one more game, I am going to stick with footballists.
Okay.
I am.
Okay. That's good. That's great. You know what? I'm actually going to go with a crazier one. I'm going to go with B4. We
that was the other one I was looking
at. So we'll see what B4 is going to be able to do here on Miramar. It's not Sanhok, but hey, why not? Throw a crazy one out there.
I'm not going to lie. If those were changed, actually, no, if you showed me those on a piece of paper and told me to guess who chose who, B4 definitely would have been Glitter's choice, in my opinion. Me, I'm going footballists as well. So, Glitter, we're in this together, and we'll check in with you guys.
Right.
Yeah, well, I hope so. We'll see. We'll check with you guys after this match is done, of course, and hear you guys' thoughts, and hopefully get to have some smiles if we can get our predictions correct. But of course, you guys at home can still win some things within the game. If you guys are watching within the game in the Esports Center, you have a chance to win some lucky draws for some limited time outfits. Make sure you guys are watching there. You got YouTube, you got Twitch, you got yourself the game as well. So make sure to check one of those out, or maybe all 3 of those as well, so you can chime in with the chat and maybe get yourself a lucky guess for 7 and get your name shouted out on the stream. And I got to bring in 2 new casters as well, with the energy levels exceeding of over 9,000. We got Hot Jukes and Mustache Dave coming through here. And I have to say off the bat, Hot Jukes, I've been hearing rumors about something. I've been hearing something about this house tour coming up. What's that about?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Good rumors then. Yes, a house tour coming in soon of the new gaming house here in Texas. Can't wait to get that out. Hopefully be up Monday. Pumped.
And where's my invite? That's my next question.
Oh, dude, you're ready to go. You're the first one on my notification list. That's for sure.
No, bring in all the West crew. Mustache Dave, you're looking phenomenal today as well. What's your thoughts on the first 2 matches we've had played so far?
Listen, all right, are you trying to get at that? I'm a footballist fan here today. I got you on my side. I got Glitter on my side. I am looking forward to footballists getting that dub so I can reclaim my spot, that #1 spot on the leaderboards when it comes to the talent pick'ems.
Well, he's trying to go for his #1 spot. Hot Jukes going into our 3rd map of Miramar here. How do you think this is going to play out in general?
You know, it's a really interesting one right now because the way I'm starting to see certain players, kind of go about Super Weekend, I think I've seen the top teams kind of play a little bit more conservatively, just trying to kind of hold on to that position as it goes into later days. So you know what? I'm going to go with tempo here on this one. Yesterday, they had a tough day, and me knowing these players really well, that's going to light a fire in them. I think we saw it kind of happen in the last game. Fortunately, it didn't work out for them, but you know what? I'm going to go for them on this one.
Okay, so we got a tempo, we got a footballist, so we got a footballist here as well. We're going to find out after this match is done who will be taking home the extra points on our side and maybe who can move up the ranks. I'm hoping to still hold on to that #1 spot, but I'm hoping it works out for us, Dave, and I hope Hot Jukes, that tempo get knocked out in 16th place. Anyways, why don't you guys take us into our 3rd match of the day here on Miramar.
Here we go. Match number 3, Miramar 2.0. My favorite map personally right now, because so far every single one that we've seen in the past tournaments, they've just been insane from start to finish, Dave. Ain't that right?
Yeah. And, I got footballists on my team to get the dub here, but I also am going to be looking out for Team Queso. They like to get that Golden Marauder, and we know from the Americas region at least, it's a pretty consistent squad when it comes to Miramar, and I know they're looking for the comeback here, the comeback kings, some would say.
They need it. They definitely need it so far. Having a rough start today, and I was really surprised to see how they're changing up their strategies. First game, they normally like to drop Primorsk, and that was a perfect playing path for them to do that. They decided to mix it up completely, and I was kind of shocked. And then seeing how they performed last game, I wonder what's kind of going in there, kind of like what's going through their brains right now, right? What's their mindset like going in here into match number 3? But if there's any time to get a win, it's right now.
Yeah. I mean, right now, they're at that midway point in the Super Weekend, I would call it, and they're at that mid-pack on the actual overall leaderboards. They got about 50 total points, and they average around 7.1 per game. But, I mean, to put this into perspective, like top 3 right now, Cloud9, they average 15 points per game. So, yeah, if you want to make the comeback, you got to get those averages up just a little bit more. And Hey, Hot Juice, the plane, we are going to be looking at it. Nova going to go all the way up there to Camp Militar. Interesting.
Oh man, and that early drop's going to help them out quite a bit because they're going to be able to loot all that really quickly here. Starting to look down to the center of the map. Tempo Storm going to Picado. They're old faithful of a drop, wondering if they're going to have some contention there. It looks like they may just have it. But yeah, looking at this particular zone, it's going to be really huge, especially for Cloud9. They love to go El Pozo, and that is like one of the most high loot spots in all of Miramar. And so far, by the looks of it, they're going to have it all themselves. So they're going to be looted up and ready to go for this game.
They're going to be looking really good all the way up there to the north of circle number 1. You got Uter Killers just south of that. B4, another really aggressive squad. So we'll pay attention to see exactly how that west side of circle number 1 unfolds. Really though, I mean, you talked about it. Tempo over there in Picado. They got a couple teams around them. This is going to be on the east side of the circle, so they could be setting up for some nice rotational early game kills on their side.
Definitely. I mean, that's a big advantage anytime you're a team that really is able to secure the central drop point on each different map. But when you're able to do that, wherever the circle goes, you're most likely going to be the quickest one to be able to get there. Of course, unless you drop there. But considering if you have to rotate from all these other teams, you're going to have the best chance. And you can see Tempo, they're still in zone. They're in zone automatically right here. The only way they're not in the first circle is if we get a crazy Campo Militar circle, which is super rare. So yeah, I think that's a really great drop location. That's honestly one of the prime reason why I decided to pick him for this match.
Oh, okay. You're starting to get a little better insight on the hot juice strategy.
You know what? I decided, you know what? I was looking at it and I was like, you know what place am I in? I'm not in first. I was like, you know what? I need to start trying on my picks, you know?
Oh.
I think that was the problem. You know, now I'm going to put effort and we'll see what happens.
You're going to start trying. Hey, that's what you said the last game when we were watching. Like, I'm going to start trying.
You know, I'll say it every game.
Talk about trying. Prez from Umbra trying to connect the shots on the Toffees from the Dream Eaters. Going to be driving on right by that one.
Oh, and
flipping the vehicle. Okay.
Oh, what a turtle. He gets it. There we go. Save right there. That was really clutch right there for Dream Eaters. Now, we got to talk about Dream Eaters. I think that's definitely a team that we have to talk about because their performance yesterday was just monstrous, at least compared to how they've performed in the past. And we heard some great stats from the desk earlier on, and just comparing their overall past 11 games to those 2 games that they had. I believe they had more points in 2 games than over 11. So that just goes to show you how big of a day that was for them. And that's what I really love about this entire scoring system, this entire tournament right here. 2-3 good games can change your entire stats on the leaderboards. We saw Cloud9 do that in the PMWL Americas. They were bottom 10 almost the whole tournament, and then in just the last couple of days, turned it on and was able to secure 3rd place, I believe. But man, it's just insanity when it comes to thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 chicken dinners, right? Back to back. And 1 chicken dinner alone is 20 points. They were able to get 40 points alone when it comes to placement points to add to that total overall. Looking at kills, though, I mean, trust me, I understand. The game, it's all about surviving till the end and getting the chicken dinner. But I would like for the squad to kind of ramp up their fragging ability, right? To kind of level it out so that they can be that consistent squad. Right now, they're sitting around 34. Right behind them in 4th place, Footballists with 42. So, you know, those chicken dinners definitely going to be keeping them up there at the top. But as the tournament progresses, like the chicken dinners, okay, you're getting the chicken, but you need to also get the frags to kind of balance it out, at least in my opinion.
I think it's a good way to look at it. You know, I think it's definitely a good way to look at it. In my opinion, I think that, you know, just consistent placements are going to all overall do you pretty well, you know. But yeah, like you mentioned, getting some good, solid kills, they'll just help offset those bad games. And it's just going to happen no matter how good of a team you are. There's going to be certain games where you drop, guess what? The loot, it's just not there for some reason. You get the worst circles possible. You get gatekept by 3 or 4 of some of the best teams on the planet.